Two games walk into the OSR. One brings the hype, one brings the clarity. Both claim to carry the torch of old school gaming into the modern era. Today, we're going head to head. DragonSlayer versus Shadowdark. Which one actually nails that, what do we call it, new school OSR feel? Which one should you be running? Let's hit it. Now, why do these two games even matter? Why are we discussing them? So let's talk the big picture. Shadowdark exploded with a multi-million-dollar Kickstarter. Actually, two. Grabbed a ton of 5e refugees. Hey, more people playing OSR and OSR adjacent games, I'm all for it. And slapped OSR adjacent front and center with timers, torches, deadly combat, presentation. DragonSlayer comes out swinging. It's clean, it's clearer, it's distilled, and very intentionally built to be BX's spiritual successor without being a straight-up clone. These are the two modern contenders, in my opinion, for the OSR/OSR adjacent throne. So let's compare them where it matters. Where would you start this? I will start this with lethality. I think most people care about that. How fast can you die? Well, let's look at Shadowdark. PCs start fragile. They're not superheroes like in 5e, but they're not BX fragile. Monsters hit hard, but you've got a bit of padding with 0 HP down, but not dead. Torches create pressure, right? That time ticking down. But you often see parties treat combat like a tactical puzzle. DragonSlayer, early levels feel way closer to BX, probably closer than any other game that's being actively supported. HP totals stay low. Monsters hit like trucks. Combat encourages clever play because straight up fights can end eventually. They will kill you. So, verdict? Shadowdark is certainly lethal. DragonSlayer is old school lethal. If you like combat that punches players in the mouth, DragonSlayer wins this round. So, let's look at ease of prep. And things get a little interesting, right? Because Shadowdark is prep light. No stat block bloat, clean monster design, simple treasure placement. Rooms are essentially bullet points. It's perfect for DMs that don't want a spreadsheet for any of the meals of the day. They're not hobbits, they're not looking for multiple spreadsheets. DragonSlayer prep is very clear because the rules are laser focused. Monsters, spells, and encounters are stripped to the essentials. It is basically BX if someone reorganized it and made it extremely readable. The difference: Shadowdark wants fast prep. DragonSlayer wants correct prep. If you want the minimal effort, Shadowdark. If you want structure without clutter, DragonSlayer. It's a toss-up. It depends on your style. So, for me, I fall somewhere in between. I'm going to call that a tie. You may call it differently. What about tone and vibes? Tone matters, right? It shapes how your players act at the table. And Shadowdark's tone is dark fantasy, gloomy, torch driven. Very much 5e players dipping a toe into old school danger, right? But we still need advantage, disadvantage because we can't get away from that. Emphasis on real time tension, resource pressure, and mobility. DragonSlayer's tone, classic fantasy. It breathes it. It feels like 1981 BX with modern readability. Clean, heroic, straightforward. It's aimed at players who want the old school experience without deciphering 40-year-old layout. So, DragonSlayer feels like D&D before it grew up and got a corporate job. Shadowdark feels like a dungeon with consequences, certainly. But it's a dungeon with consequences with, 5e refugees to a large extent. Depends on your mood and depends on what your group is composed of. How about art and presentation? Shadowdark, I think the art is gorgeous, is consistent, and it fits the mood of the game. That black page aesthetic sells the vibe. It's a unified look. It's instantly recognizable. You're not going to forget it once you've seen it. DragonSlayer, clean, white pages, bright, readable layout. Art is more classic, it's less stylized, and to be honest, it's likely easier to run at the table under poor lighting, which is pretty much every table, whether it's your dining room, your living room, your convention table. So if you want atmosphere, Shadowdark. You want usability, DragonSlayer. For me, usability will trump atmosphere, but that is not how it necessarily falls for everybody else. So how OSR do they feel? That's a big question, right? Shadowdark's OSR DNA, time pressure, procedural dungeon play, dangerous monsters, limited healing compared to 5e, by far. Minimal rules. All right. Once you get past those core rules, there's minimal rules bloat. But it still carries some 5e-isms. Core stat bonuses, 0 HP safety net, heroic assumptions baked in, advantage, disadvantage. DragonSlayer's OSR DNA, straight BX sensibility, simple classes, small numbers, dangerous exploration, and rulings first DMing. It feels like it grew out of the OSR instead of trying to appeal to the OSR. That makes sense to you. So, Shadowdark is OSR inspired, does a great job with it. It's a fun game. DragonSlayer is OSR aligned. It knows its roots, it knows where it wants to plant itself. They both have different goals, they both have different strengths. But for pure OSRness, DragonSlayer wins. So which one should you run? And that's the bottom line, right? If your group is coming from 5e and wants danger without culture shock, Shadowdark is your best on-ramp. And I've seen in the comments on other videos where people are like, hey, Shadowdark exposed me to the OSR, and now I found X number of games. Beautiful. If your group wants to be experienced without flipping through, well, I'm actually in pretty good shape, but decomposing rule books, DragonSlayer could be your new home. And honestly, they don't compete. They complement each other. They are targeting different audiences. Is there some overlap? Certainly. But I think that they just need to get out of each other's way because they're both doing a fine job. For me, I think that DragonSlayer fits what I want right now from a game. But I've had fun with Shadowdark. I gladly play the session. I gladly run a session. It's easy enough. So here's the real question. I've been leading up to it, haven't I? Which one do you want me to run a one-shot of on this channel? DragonSlayer or Shadowdark? It won't be until early 2026 at the earliest. Got a lot on my plate, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Let me know in the comments below. Drop your vote, and we'll see how we're going to do this. If you've enjoyed this comparison, hit that like button, subscribe, and if you haven't, if you didn't enjoy this, I don't know what to tell you. Still subscribe. I'll do better next time. And folks, when you do subscribe, remember to ring the bell so you don't miss the next Modern OSR Spotlight. Until next time, be safe, be well, and take those damn torches seriously.